Hello, this is my presentation called Calling Home. It is my pitch that I want to be then made into a film possibly next year. My name is Spink, as you can see. My idea for a film, like I said, the title is Calling Home. This is just some basic information first. I will then go in further detail further on. The theme, death is a part of life. Death is a part of life. Everybody knows that. We all die at some point. There's 5 characters in this film. There's the son, the main character. His name is Lance Corporal James Smith. We have the father, who is James Smith Senior. We have the mother, who is Beth Smith. And a friend, who is kind of a key character in this, but you only see him for a couple of minutes. And the final character is the son's commanding officer, Brigadier Andrew Williams. I will tell you what the film is about in a moment. The duration, it's an 8-page script, so a minute a page is 8 minutes, with the plan to cut it down to 5 later on onwards. The setting, place and time, there are 3 locations going to be in this. There's the army base, the interior and exterior of that. You've got the parents' house back home in Manchester. That is the second, and the final one would be actually another army base in Manchester as well. Character descriptions. Yes, the son, like I mentioned, Lance Corporal James Smith, is a 6-foot-tall male with a muscular build. Being in the army, possibly needs to train up, be muscular. You never hear anything bad said about him, but he has lots of friends. This will be shown with pictures on walls to explain the story. He is dressed in standard soldier uniform with black boots, long pants and a tucked-in t-shirt. Has to be presentable, being in the army. With a beret placed on his head. The father, the second character, like I said, James Smith Senior, is small in stature due to his age and has grey hair. He seems to be healthy and well. He's a working class retired army soldier trainer, and he does not wear the pants in a marriage, which comes apparent in the script. The mother does wear the pants in the marriage. She is, like it says here, a strong, confident personality. She has a strong, confident personality, sorry. She was in the army as well. As it says here, the last sentence, she met her husband in the army. She was trained by him. The penultimate character, the superior officer, Brigadier Andrew Williams. He is James Smith's commanding officer who sits at his desk most of the working day. Standing tall in formal attire required for his occupation, he has had his fair share of experiences in the army, shown by medals and newspaper clippings as well. The final character, the best friend, who you'll see later on, is slim build, tall, and he's injured, which is the most important part. He is injured, that you know that. Losing an arm and a leg. He has to use crutches for mobility. Description of the film. I've struggled with this bit, really. You try to sum it up in as few words as possible. It's about a mother and a father family unit getting devastating news the day after a phone call from their son. What was said on the phone. That's what's the important part about it is. The story. This is where I'm going to explain the whole story for you. It's about a father, son and mother. One day the son phones his parents back home in Manchester, where he is on tour in Afghanistan. He's reporting back to them like a daily thing. During this phone call, they have normal conversation, how are you doing, things like that, and the conversation moves on. And the son then asks the parents, would it be okay if I ask you a question? The parents say yes. the son asks a question. He says, would it be okay if I have a friend, my best friend that I've met here in the army, come live with us at the house back home in Manchester? He can stay in the spare room that we have. Unfortunately, he's injured, he's lost an arm and a leg. He doesn't have any friends and family back home in Bradford where he lives, so that's why I suggested maybe him coming and live with us. The parents, mainly the mother, being the strong, confident personality that she has, kind of interrupts him and flat out says, no, you will not be staying with us. Just imagine the cost, the mobility, the expenses, the medication. It'd be too much of a burden for us to live and be living with us, with your father and you at the same time. Progressing from this, the son just hangs up, doesn't say anything, just hangs up the phone. The next day, the parents get a phone call in the middle of the night from Brigadier Andrew Williams, the superior officer to James, saying that their son has sadly committed suicide, death by gunshot. The family, shocked by this, completely distraught, and etc. The Brigadier Andrew Williams then tells them the next day their son will be flying home to their nearest army base. Would it be just come along and ID the body to end our investigation into this? The parents say yeah, they come down the next day, and it is at that point at this army base the whole story comes clear, that the son doesn't have a best friend, he has no friends there, and that he is in fact the one with the injury, losing an arm and a leg. The parents see this and are, as you would be, distraught, thinking that the reason why he has killed himself in their heads is because they've flat out said no, and it's that family unit breaking apart, and it's over for them. They're completely distraught. That's the story. Nice twist at the end. We all got up like a good twist, don't we? Where did the idea come from? The plot idea came from, for my script, purely came from imagination, but then became developed through discussion with friends, students and tutors. On the other hand, the characters' names and profiles, descriptions of some family members and friends. The mother in the script is taken from my mother's strong, confident personality. She wears the pants in the relationship. She's bossy. The dad, again, is taken from my personal experience being my father. He doesn't wear the pants in the relationship. He's very... yes, that's not the theme, like I mentioned earlier, death as a part of life. The script and the story is focusing around suicide. That's the whole point of this, as well as the realisation that it's the parents' fault. Suicide is there as well. Through research into the armed forces from newspaper and other articles and internet searches, I found that the number one cause of deaths from soldiers, apart from in combat, is actually suicide. Yeah, so I think that is an important fact to have, and I think that's one of the reasons why I am doing this script about it, because it's such a sensitive topic. Nobody really talks about it, they just avoid it. Maybe confronting it is one of the best ways to go about it. Locations for filming, yes. All the sets that are in this, all the locations that I mentioned, the army bases, both of them, and the house. After thinking about it, we do have enough space and in the studio to do it. Although a location would need to be found for exterior shots of the army base in the story. This doesn't mean that it has to be an army base, because you probably won't get permission to film there or anything like that. So maybe it just needs to be a big dramatic building anywhere that we can perhaps dress it or things to make it look like an army base would do. The mood board for this. This is the kind of feel that I was going for. I picked this picture because it's rather it's an iconographic symbol for my script. In it, partially, it's heard as a reference to life and death. The flag blows in the wind when life is present, and when somebody dies, you see it lay dormant next to the flag, signalling death. This is partially one of the reasons as well, with like a room that I was thinking of that we could build, where he actually commits suicide, where he's on the phone to his parents. Again, with building, that is an army base, but something like that, maybe, we could find. And again, one of the last pictures, like training and standing still, saluting, things like that, that is partially, again, seen in the script. You see them training, running around, seems like doing army rhythm chants. Challenges faced, yes, when creating this script I faced the fact that I didn't want to offend anybody with the phrasing of words because it's a sensitive issue. For example, I chose to do death by suicide, which everybody prefers. That's a preferable way of saying that about suicide, as opposed to your son, daughter killed themselves. It's rather insensitive, possibly. Again, challenges I faced was researching the hierarchy of the British Army and making sure I used it correctly, with the Lance Corporal being used as a name, and Brigadier Williams as well. I made sure I researched that. At the end, yes, thank you for listening and watching. Any questions? Any questions?
Do you think that we can shot your film in 2 days? Because we were told that the films that are going to be shot next year, each one going to have only 2 days.
Yes, yeah.
With the 3 or the 4 locations, that the room and the house and the inside and the outside, do you think it's doable in 2 days?
Yeah. The main focus and filming would be done in the studio with the builds and the rooms that are in the script, like a kitchen. We have kitchen equipment and cupboards and things like that down there. We have beds where I said the suicide takes place. So in terms of materials and things like that, it's all there, so we can actually personally feel that we'd be able to do it in 2 days. Maybe with the exterior shots on locations. It might be a push, but it could be done at some other time, possibly. 2 days, I'm not sure. I think yes.
Do you think, with your kind of problem with having locations at an army base, do you think you could just green screen it? Or would you prefer to try and find a location and kind of build a style, something to make it look like an army base?
Yeah, I think I would prefer to find a location, but I mean green screen is always an option, isn't it? I don't know where. It'd have to take more thinking and preparation to find out where that possibly would be used. But yeah, I think it would be a possibility. Yeah.
Who's the target audience that you think might be interested in watching your short film?
Very good question.
Target audience. That is a very good question and one I will struggle to answer. Target audience. possibly not a too younger audience. I mean, it's about death, isn't it? So I mean, from teenage to adult. I mean, that's a massive audience, and it's not a very descriptive answer. But yeah. That's the end. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.